What just happened? I'm Dan. That's Jules. That's Bag Face over there. And this week we're covering Sugar, episode 3, called Shibuya Crossing. Jules, you are back for this. So what do you think of the show so far?
I am. I really enjoyed it so far. It was kind of hard because, again, I do this all the time. I'm always the one who waits to the last minute and then just has to binge everything. I don't know. It wasn't like too much information with this show, but I also wish that I had had more time to like kind of pay closer attention to things.
Okay. Well, episode 3, we find out a good amount. There were
Yeah.
some pretty crazy things that happened, especially with Ruby that we'll get into towards the end. Bagface and I talked last week whether or not we trusted her. We both said
I
yes.
don't
We both said yes. And now I think I'm
immediately know.
Yeah, especially what happens at the end with that phone call she makes. So
Yeah, but
we'll get
like
into
you
it.
didn't get that in the first two episodes?
No, we kind of
Kinda.
both trusted her. We kind of both
I don't
trusted.
know. I just something seemed fishy to me.
I think I
Yeah,
landed on Sugar trusted her, so I trusted
yeah,
her
that's what you
because
said.
he
Yeah,
seems like omnipotent in a way.
yeah.
I guess, yeah, but
Yeah.
like I don't know. I feel like he always has this air of like trust nobody.
Yeah.
Well,
Although maybe not because he just hands random people money and shit. So
he's got it like that though. All right, so kicks off. Sugar's talking to Ruby. She doesn't like the case for him,
Sugar, I'm gonna say it again. I don't like this case for you.
and we find out at the end of the episode there's a specific reason why she doesn't like the case for him. And we thought it was just because of his health and he needs a break and all that, the way she's been making it seem. But really, I'll just address the elephant in the room now. It seems like she has a relationship with Stallings. She knows something about Stallings that she doesn't want Sugar to find out. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with that. But he wonders why she's so worried about it.
Why does she keep saying that? What's she so worried about? I mean, other than the drugs and bad dreams and sometimes my handshakes, I'm fine.
And I'm sure he'll figure it out because he's a smart guy. And then we see Stallings. He gets Teresa to trick Melanie to go over to her house.
You okay? I'm so sorry, but I had no choice.
There she is. Finally, Melanie Matthews.
And Sugar is tracking Melanie, so he follows her there with Charlie. We meet Charlie for the first time. And he notices the trucks are out of place. The red truck, the black truck, the man sitting in the black truck. He's like, yeah, this guy's working.
You see the truck across the road? Exact same, F-150. See the creepazoidal sitting in the front seat. He's not listening to music. He's not on his cell phone. Eyes wide.
Something's up. So he goes, he finds out what apartment Teresa's in. So he goes around back, makes his way up to it. Then he has an episode which I still don't understand really what's wrong with him and the drugs he takes in his neck. I still don't quite get that. Do you guys know what's happening with him?
Jules?
I don't. I feel like maybe I'm missing something, but I did like that Bagface touched last week on like the theme of addiction. So part of me kind of thinks it has something to do with that. Like I'm wondering if maybe he has some kind of like nerve problems from, doing too many drugs or something.
Maybe.
I have a different idea now.
All right, let's hear it.
I think he's a vampire.
I know what you are.
Say it out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
That's it. That's the one.
It sounds nuts, but I actually think he's a vampire and all these spies are vampires, and that's why they know so many languages and experience so much culture. And they're kind of like they reference a few times in the episode like staying out of lives and just observing, and there's a few subtle hints. We'll get to it when we get to certain parts, but like I think that's going to be the twist.
I would be intrigued.
So you
I'm
really
not
think
usually
he's
a big vampire gal,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
I actually think he's a vampire.
Oh man.
I think
Okay.
that leans on the addiction thing as well, because like he's probably taking like a certain medication so he doesn't do vampire things. And yeah,
that or like, I mean, I'm sure if you're alive for that fucking long, it gets boring. So why not do some drugs now and then?
How many people are that fluent in a bunch of languages?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
I
polyglots,
guess
I
you'd be
guess.
surprised, but
Yeah.
but it would make
Okay.
sense for them to have learned it over all of that time.
All right. Well, that's something I didn't consider, but now I'll consider it. It's on the table. So he gets in the apartment. He acts like her PO to get them out. It's a pretty smart idea, but Stallings doesn't believe him.
That suit, that watch, oh no, a real PO, an actual PO, could work his entire life and not pay for that shit.
You like the suit?
And Sugar's partner, Charlie, had you know, at the point I thought she damaged the red truck, but really it was just like a smoke bomb to
Which
get them out.
like
So
what
Yeah.
a good
smart.
idea.
Oh
It
yeah.
was smart, yeah. So she used that to get them outside, and then Sugar fucks up the guy that was left guarding and gets Teresa and Melanie out.
Get the kids.
What the fuck, Sugar?
So that was the plan to get them all out, and it worked. Well, I'm sure Stallings isn't done yet. He's going to come back into play very, very soon. And then Kenny, Davy's bodyguard, goes to see his booty call, I guess, who happens to work for the NSA. And after they do their thing, he's like, I need a favor. And he's like, of course you do. So Bernie last week asked to get as much info on Sugar as possible. Sorry for the thumbs up. Stupid Mac. And he starts digging into him, and we find out, like Backface just said, like he knows all these languages. He's really smart, got a lot of good grades. And they're like, okay, that's enough for now. This is going to keep Bernie happy. We got some information. So then we find out more about Melanie and how she knew Teresa. And it turns out that Teresa was in an abusive relationship. Melanie has a passion to help people in these situations. So she helped her get away from her nightmare husband, as she called him. And then we see the night of. So we were right. We called it that Olivia did, in fact, kill Cliff.
He was over there. He saw me. Well, he didn't like seeing me. Seeing him.
The reason she did so is because Cliff killed Carmen. She saw the gun. She saw a guy walk in with a body bag, so she just shot him. So probably would have gotten away with it. Sugar said that the cops would have thought she did them a favor because this guy was such a piece of shit. And it's basically like not self-defense, but kind of, I guess, self-defense in a way.
Yeah.
So
I guess you could argue it. Like
Yeah.
if you just walked in on someone killing someone else, it's
Yeah.
fair to say that you would feel like your life's in danger. So
yeah, and her life definitely would have been in danger. So, you know, Melanie did help put the body in the trunk. And as far as we know, what Melanie says, you know, she's kept stuff from Sugar in the past. So if we're led to believe she's telling the full truth now, this is the last time she saw Olivia.
That's the last I saw her.
We're going to go with that for now. And Sugar promises that he will find her.
I'm gonna just say there's no way that's the last time she saw her.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances you would help someone get away with murder, put the body in their trunk, and then they disappear, and you're like, oh well.
Yeah, and they just like fuck
Yeah.
off, and you're just like, it's
Nothing to
fine.
worry
She's
about.
probably okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something that happens with Melanie later that we'll touch on towards the end of the episode that leads me to believe that she's not telling the full truth either. She just had to give them something because Sugar just saved her ass. So she's like, all right, I'll give you a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of information here. Ruby, of course, is on it. She sees that someone's digging into Sugar, and she finds out right away that this man works for the NSA, the guy that Kenny went to. So she's like, what the hell is this guy looking in the Sugar for? So then Sugar gets ready for the mysterious party. It's at Ruby's, and it's all of her agents. She said she managed 19 people. It looked to be a little more than 19 people there, but we'll go with that's all of her agents that were there at this party. He thinks he sees Olivia going to a bathroom, but we see a later shot that she was not in that bathroom because someone else walks into that bathroom and she was not in there. So he was just kind of seeing her. Everyone has to have a one-on-one with Ruby. It's Sugar's turn. He asks, and I want to know what you guys think about this.
Have you heard from them?
Mm-hmm.
And what do they say?
They say that they're counting on us.
What is that all about? Is that like the higher ups of whoever is Ruby's boss? What is that? What is that all about?
Well, obviously, it's the head vampires.
The head vampires.
I actually think so. Okay, so there's a little part in this scene at the party where that old lady's talking, and she mentioned something about like going to the beach and putting on sunscreen, but your skin still feels really tight. It seems like such a weird piece of dialogue to have in the show
To
not
include in that, yeah.
yes, to not have it be a hint at
Substantial.
something later on. So I actually kind of feel like the them is some upper cabal of supernatural beings.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I hope you are too, honestly.
It would
Wait,
almost make
question.
sense too, like that he's so obsessed with like black and white movies if he's from that era.
Oh
of-
shit.
Could be,
Yeah.
could be. Wait,
Yeah.
so do we ever see him like look in a mirror?
No, I don't think so. Not that I've
mean,
noticed.
he's obsessed with the moon, so it could be like werewolves. There's so many shots of the moon in this show.
Yeah, there is.
There are a lot of shots of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
All right. Well, we're on to vampires and Wolverine and
Wait,
werewolves.
are
now.
werewolves immortal?
You could make them immortal if you wanted.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I guess that's true. Yeah. I
That's
just meant
why-
like stereotypically. I don't really know.
I'll have to watch Twilight again.
In
see.
Twilight, they are.
Yeah, okay. So Ruby tells him he has to see Dr. Vickers again. She's like, no, you're going tomorrow. So we're going to meet Dr. Vickers next episode, I guess. I looked in the IMDb. Dr. Vickers is in the IMDb, so I'm guessing that scene will happen next week. Davey and Kenny are going to go to Flagstaff to see Sugar's mother. That's not really his mom, right? Because that's the
Right.
what he left for them to find, and he gave this woman a heads up that they're going to come see you. So
Yeah.
this is all planned out by Sugar. So we'll
Smart.
see.
Incredibly smart.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that scene, who this woman is, and if she's going to act like Sugar's mother. And it's all part of Sugar's plan. I'm sure it is. So that's going to be cool. Davey and Kenny think like they're on to something, like, oh, we got you, Dad. We're going to figure this out. And it's really, they're just going down a hole of nothing.
I love
So-
that scene where he basically, what does he call it? The society something like polyglots, and he's like, and that means this in English, and his dad's like, yeah, it's like almost the exact same thing in French, just he like repeats it in English, being like, I figured this out.
Société Polyglot Cosmopolitan is French for the Cosmopolitan Polyglot Society.
Yeah.
God, dude, so good.
Yeah.
love
a
that-
couple of boneheads, man.
Yeah.
I love that Skylar White is his mom.
Yeah,
You
nice
guys
touch.
notice
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's playing like the complete opposite of Skylar White. Now she's like the evil mom. She doesn't want this information to come out. She's like, I'll go talk to the woman who hasn't signed the NDA yet. We'll see what happens with that. So, all right, this is the part with Ruby, right? She calls someone and says, Sugar is on to Stallings and we need to stop him.
Sugar is onto Stallings. It's only a matter of time before he discovers the rest.
So then I wrote, oh no. What is she
I
doing?
have
What's she
no
up to?
idea.
Why is she protecting Stallings?
I don't know.
It feels to me like it's supposed to be coming off as nefarious, and I don't think it's going to be as nefarious as it seems. Like, I don't think she's working for the bad guys. I just feel like it's something she's trying to protect Sugar from with this whole case. Like, it still doesn't feel to me like she's trying to do bad things. It feels to me like she's trying to hide something for a good reason.
I
For
hope
like
so.
his own well-being.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Because maybe she thinks or she knows that Stallings is like extremely dangerous, so she doesn't want him to look into him, like that type of vibe. Or
You go.
I don't know. I feel like that's just a weird way to prevent that. Like, why be so secretive about it?
yeah,
I feel like it's probably gonna have something to do with Jen, and that's why I feel like it's all
Oh.
gonna be wrapped together.
Okay.
Like, Stallings is gonna have something to do with Jen and what happened to Jen, if maybe she's not actually dead and she's maybe been like hiding from Sugar or something like that. Like, it feels like there's a reveal in that side of the plot that is definitely gonna come out, and it's all attached to these people, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So do you think like it's more like she is trying to keep him away from Stallings because there's something like bigger that Stallings is going to lead them to, and she doesn't
Yeah.
want him to like kill him before they get that?
Either that, or Stallings is doing something good in a way, almost like he's doing something
have a
that's
hard time
essential
believing
to
that.
her business that she's like trying to protect
Essential,
Sugar
maybe.
from.
Good. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about good, but it doesn't seem like she's just working for the bad guys and is like setting up Sugar.
I like the idea of her knowing something about Jen and not telling him, because then in a way she is the bad guy to Sugar, just not an actual bad guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It still fits that whole she's doing it to protect him kind of thing. So
I mean, well, then the very next thing we see her do is she's purging the data on Stallings. So she's like erasing the tracks for Sugar to find out information on Stallings. So she clearly is trying to keep them apart,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't get exactly enough of a reason why she would want to do that. But what you guys said makes sense, so I'll just go with that for now. Really shady stuff that she pulled. So then another moment, Melanie goes to see Bernie, and it looks like they're about to bang.
Hey, you.
So what's up with that?
Well, like, obviously she knows something more than she's telling Sugar, which isn't really a surprise. But
Yeah.
I guess it kind of surprises me that maybe Bernie knows everything that Melanie knows, and she's kind of going there to get him back up to speed on everything that happened.
That was my gut feeling, but like I'm trying to figure out what are they working together for?
Right. I mean, they're divorced. They used to be married. Would that mean that Bernie really knows where Olivia is? And so does Melanie? No? You don't
I don't
think
think
so?
they know where she is, but I think they know why she's gone.
And it kind of feels like there's a reason that not that they don't want to find her, but they want to do that without like their history and secrets and shit getting out, kind of.
Well, that's pretty much it. Then we see Ruby starts to type out, I guess it was whatever was in Sugar's like daily log. She's typing it out to her higher ups, the main vampires we'll go with for now. So, and Sugar's in the pool looking at the moon. So that's what we get. I thought this episode was really good. I'm really loving this show. I think it's so well done. I think Colin Farrell is perfectly cast for the role.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. So, what do you guys think? Do you agree with the vampire theory? Do you have different theories? Just let us know in the comments and we'll go over them. Go ahead.
I'm going to change my theory really quick. I'm going towards werewolf only because they made a big point of him getting a dog.
Okay.
Final answer.
That's a
Final
good point.
answer. And the moon.
And the moon.
He does like the
moon. Yeah.
werewolves be loving the moon. You know what I mean?
They do.
Yeah. All right. That'll do
Word.
it for this week. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye, guys.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
That just happened.
I've got to keep it together.